Hello and welcome to Shanti Botanic, and today we're going to be talking about scrying bowls. Scrying bowls are one of my favorite topics to talk on, mainly because a lot of people don't know what scrying is or what a scrying bowl actually does. I would say in simple terms as I'm explaining it, the best way to understand a scrying or a scrying bowl is very similar to a crystal ball, somebody looking into a crystal ball. And even looking into a crystal ball, people get the wrong interpretation of what you're supposed to see in a crystal ball. For example, not many people have ever heard of the word scry before, and those that have heard of the word scry know it intimately. Scrying is a method in the system that allows somebody to look into a reflective surface and see things in a different place in time. Some people equate it to the psychic phenomenon of remote viewing. Interesting, the United States government invested a large amount of money into putting together a unit of psychics during the Cold War who could use their talents to spy on the Russians. Unfortunately, this investment ended in failure. The participants could not successfully and relatively spy on the Russians. The reason is that scrying is not a method of remotely viewing at all. It's not about spying on somebody. Scrying is a method of seeing into dimensions, not our own, and realms normally forbidden to man. But the scrying will help you to see places you might not have been meant to see. And it's interesting because scrying can be a two-way street. So you have to be careful. With scrying, the use of a scrying bowl is technically very simple. It's the conceptual practice that is difficult. The same thing when you're using a crystal ball. So first, your bowl should be made of a natural surface, natural wood surface. The coconut shell is what is used for scrying to also connect with Mother Earth. It should be darker in color, not shaped like a wine glass where it comes tighter at the top, but the top should be as wide or wider than the base. That is the correct way. The water that goes inside can just be room temperature. Any type of water, as long as it can be water you drink from a faucet, then it's fine to have that same water here. It is also, scrying can be used in two different ways. Once you are scrying, you can use it also for candle wax readings, which I will talk about in just a second. Once you have it filled with the water should be around room temperature. You can sit at a table with it in front of you. Alternately, you can place the dish on the floor if you want to sit in the lotus position and do your reading. Holding the dish in your hands and looking into the reflective surface, similar to the way that you would look into a crystal ball. Again, this can be done during your ceremony. This could be done at the end of your ceremony. And scrying can be done just at any time on its own. When you're using the scrying bowl for your candle reading, it is a little bit different. Scrying bowl can be used to read your candle wax after your smudging ritual. So you can use this also, the same place that you had your abalone shell for your smudging ritual. The tripod can also hold your scrying bowl. So if you're using it for your candle wax readings, your candle is the center of your smudging ceremony. It starts you off. It's where you set your intentions, your mantra. It's where you're lighting your Palo Santos. You're lighting your smudge stick, your white sage. Everything is coming from the candle. Then after you're lighting your incense, you're either burning and lighting your herbs. It's lighting and transferring all the energy. So in that candle wax, you have a lot of energy built in there. With the water in your scrying bowl, you can leave the scrying bowl out at night. Scrying is best read in the evening time, but if you're doing your candle wax readings, you can do that in the morning time. But you can set the bowl out with the water at night, collect the lunar energy, collect the energy from the moon. Great when it's a full moon. Now the water is energized with everything from the night before and everything from the moon. Now when you do your ritual, whether you're smudging with sage, Palo Santo, you do your entire smudging ritual, then you have at the very end, you can do your candle wax reading. After you finish the smudging, after you finished your seminar, your ceremony or ritual. So when you are finished, what you can do at that point is you can take your candle wax. Once you put your candle out, you can take your candle wax and you drip the candle wax into your scrying bowl. Now, it's important to understand you're going to be reading what you're actually is happening in your bowl. It's going to be unique to each experience that you have. So completing the ceremony, you are now have at the very end, when most times you would end a ceremony, you are now using all of the energy from your candle, and you're able to read that wax and find out how things went in your ceremony. And all you need is your scrying bowl, the water, a candle, and a notepad if you want to jot anything down while you're going through the ceremony. But certain things that you can see in here. You can see wax can show numbers, which can indicate days of the week, months, or even years. Letters can represent clues to a person's name or place. A circle, if it forms a circle, can indicate the end of a cycle, such as a completed project. A cluster of dots might indicate a group of people. If there is one formation sitting distant from the rest of the drippings, it could represent isolation or going off on a distant trip. There is no right or wrong way to interpret your candle wax, but it's important to understand that you are experiencing and reading everything that you just did with your ceremony, prolonging your ceremony. Like if you are using the incense, the Palo Santos or the white sage incense to prolong your experience after your smudging, then it's all going to be absorbed into your wax and into your ceremony. The more you practice, the better you'll become, and the more answers that you'll have with your questions. Candle wax can be done in the day. The candle wax can be done at night. It will get different energies, but always a great way to energize and leave the water out overnight and get some of that lunar energy before you begin. So as you can see, all the items, whether you're using the abalone shell with the herbs, the abalone shell with your spiritual salts, with your sage, whether it's holding the scrying bowl, all of them work together and helps the synergy keeping between Mother Earth and your ceremony or ritual. So also in our frequently asked questions, you are going to have more information on this as well, and check us out there at the bottom of our website, which is shantibotanic.com. That's Shanti, SHANTII, botanic.com.